It's Ebro and Laura and Rosenberg. Give it up for Mark Tatum representing the NBA today. What's your official title?
I'm the NBA Deputy Commissioner and Chief Operating Officer.
There it is. And now you have a new title I would like to add, because this is at least your third visit to the program.
Oh, yeah, this is big.
You are officially a friend of the show.
Oh, that's big.
Give it up for Mark Tatum, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go, Mark.
Friend of the show, and also just happens to be the deputy chairman. You know what I mean? A little side note. No big
I'm
deal.
putting that on my business card, Ebro.
There it is.
I mean, listen, a couple years ago, as deputy commissioner, he had to step in for Adam Silver, hand out the trophy. You've done a lot of big things. You're the guy at the NBA, and now you're a friend of the show. This is a big time in your life.
Absolutely. It's an honor to be a friend of the show.
There it is. Any acceptance speech or anything you want to?
I'd like to thank my family in Brooklyn. No, thank you all. You all do such a fantastic job, and it's always a pleasure coming on and talking hoops with all of you.
No, and I like the in the office look back there. It's a good look.
Thank you. I wish I was in the studio with you guys. But
yeah, so do we. Do we.
Different story for a different day, Mark.
Yeah, different show about our studio. So Mark, this morning we got a lot to get to. I want to get to all of the work that you guys are doing around registering people to vote and getting people out to vote on this upcoming election. Talk about how the NBA is leaning in here and just all the players rallying around this moment.
That's right. We're only a few days from Election Day, and once again, the NBA family is committed to taking a sustained league-wide action in support of civic engagement in the run-up to Election Day. No games will be played on Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th, for the second consecutive election cycle. That is so we can encourage our players, our fans, the NBA family to focus on nothing but going out and exercising their civic right, their civic duty to engage in the process and to vote. Now, the night before Election night, on November 4th, all 30 NBA teams will be playing games as part of a league-wide civic engagement night. And the league is going to use that platform to really amplify the resources that are available to fans in their states, to share messaging and tools from different voting organizations, and supporting participation, really providing useful resources, information, how to vote, why you should vote, and really sharing our appreciation and respect for the poll workers too, because the poll workers are essential in this process.
That's right.
And so for the first time, the NBA and the NFL are actually collaborating on Election Day awareness, and really it's a shared initiative focused on poll worker recruitment in partnership with Vet the Vote. So, this is something that we have done over the last several election cycles and that we will continue to do going forward.
Have you guys ever considered and I don't know if this is even possible, has there ever been a discussion, Mark, about using games or arenas in the process of actually voting as like a way to draw people out?
Oh, no doubt, Rosenberg. So we've actually, and this year will be no exception, several of our facilities will be used as polling locations. Logistically, it's hard for arenas to be done. Several years ago during the pandemic, several of our arenas were used as polling locations when games weren't being played. But now we've got several facilities, practice facilities and other facilities, not necessarily arenas, but other facilities in the NBA that are being used as polling locations.
Awesome. So with this, all of everything going on around the election, getting young people this engaged, talk to us about that conversation at the NBA, because I mean, that's the future of our nation, man, and getting young people to understand their role and value their role in this process. I would love to hear more about that.
That's right. It is about just really educating our young fans on the importance of voting, right? When you exercise your vote, and so many people before us fought for that right to vote, died for that right to vote. Mm-hmm. And so for us, being able to not dictate who people vote for, but just letting people know, hey, this is your right. Do not take that for granted. Please go out, because your vote matters, and your vote and who's in office actually really matters to the policies, to the programs that affect our everyday lives. And so it is critical that because you have that right, that we are promoting people that they go out and exercise that right. And it's a duty to go out and get educated on the issues, get educated on the people who are vowing for your vote, to be an elected official. And what we want to do is encourage our fans, whether you're young or old, to go out and exercise that right.
How is the beginning of this NBA season launching?
Whew, we're off to a fantastic start. There are so many good storylines for us this year. I would say our opening night last week, which featured the world champion Celtics, the reigning champions, against the New York Knicks.
Making my stomach hurt, man.
Well, Ebro, the Lakers are 3-0 too. So
no, we're looking good. It's the biggest story in the NBA, father-son duo. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Nobody cares about the Celtics.
I think there's a lot of Celtics fans that would beg to differ with that. But our opening night, which featured Celtic Knicks, Lakers, Timberwolves, we averaged 3 million viewers on TNT and Max. That's up 6% versus last year.
Wow.
As you mentioned, Ebro, I mean, that opening night story of LeBron and Bronny playing, what a once in a lifetime, literally, never been done before in the NBA. What just an incredible father-son family moment. And if you think about the things that had to happen for that moment to happen, the longevity of LeBron's career, the talent of Bronny, and the coming together of that, what just a special moment. And to have Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr. there, and it was just a heartwarming moment.
Well, and I was wondering if you were going to show up with your son, Jason Tatum, because
No. Ebro, we've been over this before. Mark is not related to Jason.
Yeah, okay.
They're not.
I was wondering why he was bigging up the Celtics fans. I was like, because he's a Tatum too. I see what's going on here.
I love Jason, but yes, we are not related. We tried to find out if there was some connection, some family connection.
Got it.
But they're not related. So I would say, that's one storyline. But then also you think about the level of competitiveness in the NBA. In the last 6 seasons, we've crowned 6 different champions. That's only the second time in NBA history that's happened. And you think about the West. Last year was so tight between OKC and Denver, tied for the best record. Minnesota 1 game behind them. In the Eastern Conference now, you've got people who are like the Knicks with some of the new faces with Karl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges. You've got Paul George going to the Sixers. So really, you've got Klay Thompson in the West going to the Dallas Mavericks, trying to get that team over the hump. So just a lot of new players, free agents going to different markets, and we're seeing the level of competition just continue to rise and rise.
No, it's dope. It's been a listen. I the start of the NBA season obviously you get going, and then you get to that Thanksgiving weekend, and then it really seems to kick off right around like Christmas. Those Christmas games are when it really goes crazy.
Absolutely. For the second time in 3 years, all 5 NBA Christmas Day games are going to be simulcast on ABC. So We've got the Rookie of the Year, Wembanyama, and the Spurs against the Knicks to tip it off at noon. We've got the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle now coming up. Again, finished 1 game behind the first place in the West last year. And they're at the Dallas Mavericks, who won the Western Conference last year. We're in the finals. Sixers at Celtics, Lakers at Warriors. So Steph against LeBron, teammates this summer, obviously, in the Olympics.
Almost teammates again this fall, if you believe what you hear.
Don't believe everything you hear, Rosenberg. and then we finish off with Denver and Phoenix. So just a really great Christmas Day lineup.
No, you
Mark,
guys.
Before I'm sorry. Before we get into the
go.
HBCU Classics, can we talk about? I thought this was really, really cool. I saw that a couple of NBA coaches came together with the National Basketball Coaches Association to film a PSA called "What's Your Issue?" featuring the issues that are motivating people to vote this season. I thought that was really important because when it comes to voting, especially locally, there's so much confusion. People are not educated on what's happening. So many moving parts, so much information. So tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Our coaches, and this is really part of the social justice coalition that we started between us, the players, the coaches are involved in that too. They view their role very much as part of the NBA family in doing the same thing in terms of educating the public on what some of the issues are. And again, the importance of exercising that right to vote. And so the coaches decided to create their own initiative here to go out and talk about what the different issues are and the things that fans and the public should be focused on as they make their votes and take those decisions into consideration. So it really is, again, the entire NBA family, from the players to the coaches to the ownership groups, everyone really going out and speaking about exercising that critical right to be engaged in the process.
Now, speaking of coaches and opinions, one of my favorites in all of sports, you have a couple of coaches who I really adore, but one who's very outspoken is Greg Popovich. And Pop got up to the podium this week and made very clear how he feels about this election and how strongly he feels that Donald Trump should not be president. Do you ever have to have conversations with your coaches about where the line is, or is it just sort of you let them be who they are?
Oh, we let our players, we let our owners, we let our coaches, the entire NBA family. We respect the right of members of the NBA family to express their political views. And we have to recognize that our league is a reflection of America, and there are people that are supporting candidates on both sides. And so that's been part of the DNA of this league since its earliest days. And so we encourage, again, all members of the NBA family to get educated, to speak out on the issues that are important to them, and to make their own decisions. But really just encouraging everyone to engage in that political process. But we respect the right for them to decide based on that information who they want to support.
Did you guys see in 2020, after all the protests and George Floyd and the sort of reckoning this country had, you guys went very hard in the bubble with the messaging, et cetera. And it seemed like the NBA messaging was received better than other leagues. I think people, when it came to the NFL, people saw a lot of inconsistency. I'm curious, though, how did you guys feel that was received? You've continued to have a lot of messaging, maybe not the exact same as in 2020, but there still is messaging. How did you guys view the way that sort of worked as a league with the messaging on the court, on the warm-up shirts, all of those things?
Well, I think people came to expect that from us because it was authentic from us. And it was what the players, it was what the coaches, it's what the NBA family were feeling. And I think that authenticity came through of what the players felt was important to them and speaking out on the issues that were important to them. And so, as I said, we've always been a league that has encouraged that. You go back to the Bill Russell days, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Oscar Robertson, right? Those players set a tone and a culture of being able to speak out on issues that are important in their communities and important to them. And I think that line has really just passed through to this current generation, who continues to be very active in terms of speaking out on issues that are important to them. I will say that sports, and particularly the NBA, but sports in general, has this power, particularly we live in highly divisive times. And, my hope is that regardless of who wins, that we as a society can really start to focus on more of what we have in common as opposed to our differences. And I think sports, you can learn a lot from that. And while sports aren't perfect, it is one of those few remaining institutions in our country that help build commonality and empathy and can bring people together on both sides of the aisle. And I think you need those sorts of situations to bring people together that aren't talking to each other right now. So I do think there's an important role for sports to play in that.
It's been a breakout year for the WNBA. I would love to hear your, perspective on, just A, New York Liberty winning championship, B, viewership and attendance at the games, and just how it feels after 30 years of working with the WNBA and the NBA to bring women's basketball more to the forefront.
Oh, it's really been incredible, Ebro. And I was at the Liberty finals game where they won the championship, and the energy in the building, the excitement in the building. Some people have said that this is a overnight sensation, 28 years in the making.
Right.
And I've been here for, not all the 28, but 25 of those 28 years. And I know that David Stern, rest in peace, had that vision to be where we are today. And I know we all at the league, Adam Silver worked on the very first WNBA business plan when he was here. Back in the early 1990s, he worked on that business plan, and that was the vision for this league. That one day we would get to this point where people were following it. We're seeing record ratings, record attendance, record interest, and the amount of talent in the league right now is incredible. Not just driven by Caitlin Clark, but Angel Reese and Cardozo and the next generation of players in college now. The Paige Beckers, the Juju Watkins, the Kiki Rices, there's this pipeline of players that are just going to come into our league and are capturing the imagination of our country and, quite frankly, the world. And so it is so rewarding to be able to see our women who are playing this game get the recognition that I think they deserve and have deserved for a long time.
Well, and having I have a 10-year-old, so she was like, "Are we watching the finals?" Like, she was into it. She was ready to get in and watch the New York Liberty. So, and I had to put Laura on how big Ellie the elephant was because my daughter met Ellie for her birthday.
Don't listen to you, bro.
He's such a liar, Mark. Because I've been bigging up Ellie the elephant ever since I laid my eyes on her when she was performing with Little Kim. I was at that game. I was like, this is incredible. Hands down, best mascot. Hands down.
Ellie is a superstar.
Right.
I mean, Ellie is a superstar. She is overbooked right now. You can't get a piece of Ellie. I mean, she is. It's incredible what she's done. But the personality of Ellie and the Liberty, I'm so excited for that team. But for the entire league. I mean, Minnesota, what they did, the quality and talent of that team, the Aces, Connecticut. There's so many great teams. And I think we had a very high level of competition for this year's WNBA season, and it's only going to get better.
And can you break down what the TV deal is too that you guys signed? Because there's a new TV deal that has them in a lot of awesome places.
Absolutely. So the average annual value is going to be just from the partners of Disney, NBC Universal, and Amazon, about an average annual value of $200 million a year over 11 years. There is a reopener in that. After 4 years, so we'll have the chance to renegotiate that, and we still have other opportunities to generate revenue from local media partners and other media partners as well. So you're going to see that number go up to probably close to around $300 million a year from our rights fees for the media partnerships, which is up from about $40 million a year. So significant increases in revenue as a result of those new media deals.
And in addition to ESPN, we'll get NBC and Peacock games plus Amazon. So it's just a big broadening of the whole league.
That's right. More chances for our fans around the world, quite frankly, to get access to games, better access than they've ever had before.
And this obviously goes back for the audience watching when you hear these sort of numbers because of the collective bargaining agreement. This helps the women's salaries boost tremendously.
For sure. As you know, there's the Players Association just opted out of the current CBA, but we've got another season under the current CBA. And Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner of the WNBA, and Terry Jackson and the WNBA Players Association are already starting the process of engaging around coming up with a new agreement. And so we're looking forward to that process.
Mark Tatum, let's talk about the HBCU Classic.
Yeah, man.
This is happening again.
Absolutely. So this is go ahead, Laura.
No, I was going to say, I have the press release here. This is exciting. You guys just announced that Morehouse College and Tuskegee University men's basketball have been selected to compete in the 2025 NBA HBCU Classic. This is exciting. And they're playing in the Bay in San Francisco.
That's right. This is the fourth HBCU Classic. And we are thrilled to be able to welcome Tuskegee University and Morehouse College. Both programs represent the SEAC conference. And so that's actually the fourth conference that we will be hosting of the HBCU divisions. And so we now have covered off every single one of the conferences in HBCUs, from the MEAC to the SWAC to the CIAA, and now finally the SEAC conference. So this is a rivalry that has, Tuskegee's got famous alums like Lionel Richie and Keenan Ivory Wayans. Morehouse has, of course, former NBA player Harold Ellis, We all know Spike.
I was going to say Spike Lee.
Spike, the Liberty fan, and Spike, the New York Knicks fan, and then Samuel L. Jackson. So just two programs with a long, prestigious history, and we're so excited to be able to welcome them and host them for our 4th annual HBCU Classic.
Look, I know Spike was so happy to go down the street from his crib in Brooklyn and go to the Barclays and be able to celebrate something, because he wasn't able to get up in there. You know, I mean, obviously he would never go in there for the Nets, but to go in there for the Liberty and have a reason to go in there. Oh, by the way, to win a championship, because the Knicks been super quiet.
Exactly.
Well, Mark Tatum, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for always coming on our program. You're an official friend of the show.
So that means now all you got to do is just drop a line, say, "Hey, I'm popping by." That's it. That's all you got to do.
I love that. I'm telling you, I'll put it on my business card. Official friend of the morning show. So thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Shout out to everybody at the NBA always showing us love too. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you all. Good to see all of you.
Take care, Mark.